out on Collins. I be.
What's going on, everybody? The Original Mako back with some more Deathloop content, and today we have our first tips and tricks guide, and it's going to be a beginner one, or a type of a things I wish I knew before I went in type of video. I've only got about 12-ish hours right now, but I believe I have enough to come up with some things where I'm like, man, that would have been good to know ahead of time. So this is what we're going to be going with. I'm sure as I keep playing, I'm going to find a lot more tips, tricks, stuff like that, and I'll make some more videos in the future. Let me know what type of videos you guys want to see. I could do like an entire PvP tips and tricks thing, because I've been doing a lot of that. There are some PvP things in here that I'm going to talk about, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you check out the links in the description. My Twitch is down there. I've been streaming this game a lot. I stream Monday through Friday, so check that out. And then the Patreon as well still needs some more love, so check that out. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to a bunch of exclusive content, so be sure to check that out. But let's get ready to hop into this video today. So it's going to be a top 5 things I wish I knew with an honorary mention, and we're going to start with that honorary mention because it's the honorary mention. So honorary mention is when you are infusing gear, which is how you get gear from one loop to the next loop. Always start with your slabs, okay? Slabs are the name of the game. You can only get them from killing visionaries or killing Juliana, and they're huge. We'll talk about a specific one in a second, but they're one of the most important parts of the game because they're pretty powerful abilities that you can have, and you want to keep those from run to run. So start by infusing slabs first, and then after that, infuse your favorite weapons, infuse your favorite weapon attachments, your favorite character trinkets, whatever you want after that, but start with these slabs first. You're going to want to have as many of these as possible. I believe I have to assume that there's 8 for 8 different visionaries. Maybe not, though. Not 100% sure. I just have to assume there might only be 4. Either way, slabs infused first. That's the honorary mention. Didn't quite make the top 5, but I still feel like it's important to know. It can kind of help you decide what order you want to infuse stuff in, which is useful. And something I did not infuse my shift slab the first time, and yeah, really wish I would have. So number 5, and this one some of you guys might be like, what the hell? But remember, these are beginner tips and tricks, okay? And I did not realize how to do this at first until it kind of clicked with me. So at first I was like, how in the hell, even with infusion, like how are you supposed to get more weapons? Because I mean, like, yeah, I keep getting the same weapons back, but like if I replace them, does that mean I just have to infuse another 3 set of weapons? Like if I have my rapier and I'm like, oh, there's this other weapon that looks good, and I drop my rapier and get this other weapon, does that just mean I have to infuse this and now I just have different 3 weapons? Like, how do I get more weapons? So every single time you start a loop, if the weapon is infused, it is going to come back to you. So if you drop it for another weapon, if I have this rapier equipped, drop it, it's going to come back to me at the start of the next loop. It will not come back to you if you sacrifice it for residuum, whatever it's called, residuum. It will not come back to you if you sacrifice it. But if you drop it for another weapon, it will come back to you. So let's say, you're like me. I'm going to try to get one of each different type of weapon. So when I'm out there, I'm like, okay, I know I've infused my rapier, my constancy automatic, and my 4-pounder. I know these are all infused. So if I drop any of them, they're going to come back to me at the start of the next loop. So whichever one I'm using the least, or I feel like is the most replaceable, I'll drop, get a new weapon, infuse that weapon, and then we have a ton of choices to choose from. Same goes for slabs. If you're using 2 slabs and then you're like, okay, like I kind of want this slab, but I don't want to lose this other one. If you have it infused, it will not be lost. Get the new slab, and then you can infuse the new slab and still have the old one at the start of the next loop. So hopefully that made some sense. At first I was really confused as to how you're supposed to get more weapons when you can only have 3 and there's no like backpack you can put it in or anything. So that's how you do it. That is how you, yes, thank you. That is how you get more weapons and more options to choose from. Number 4 tip and trick, mostly tips. When it comes to slabs, I don't care if you're playing PvP. I don't care if you're playing PvE. I don't care. Shift is God tier. Absolutely God tier slab. If you're in a really bad situation PvE, like you accidentally alerted a bunch of people and there's like so many things happening around you, no chance you're gonna make it out alive. With shift you will. Always look for high ground first. If you can get onto high ground, the eternalist enemies can't really get up there unless they're up there to begin with. So if they're not up there, they're not gonna really get up there. So look for high ground first. If there's no high ground, then just start spamming your shift as fast as you can to try to get away. Super useful. And then in PV, don't even get me started on PvP. You know how confusing it is to watch somebody be like teleporting back and forth constantly? If you can get the hang of shifting and like hitting shots right after you shift, and then like shift, hit a shot, shift, you're going to be a nightmare to deal with as Juliana or as Colt for people invading as Juliana. So shift is the God S tier slab, and it's not even close. Number 3, for PvP, this is a more PvP specific, but it's good for everybody to know because, you know, whenever Juliana invades, assuming you have online mode on, if you're playing with Juliana as an AI, it's not as big of a deal. But if you have online mode on, if you are playing as Colt, or if you're invading as Juliana, then there are two very good things you're going to want. First one is Toxic Haze, which is, I believe it's one of the upgrades that any weapon can roll with. It just kind of depends on, you just have to get lucky and get it on a decent weapon. So bullets release a toxic gas on impact. The toxic gas drains health, like drains it. And there is a character trinket that makes you immune to gas. Most people aren't running it currently. If people do start running it, this isn't going to be, you know, as big of a thing, which is kind of also a tip for Juliana. If you're invading as Juliana, you might want to have this on one of the 4 slots. Anyway, poisonous gas drains health. So if you're hitting 1 or 2 bullets with a poisonous gas weapon, GG. You're in a great place. The other one is this one right here, Stopping Power, which should be pretty obvious. Damaging an enemy greatly slows the start of their health regen. So one of the things I run on Colt and Juliana is regenerate health faster. You start regenerating pretty quick after you take damage. So if you're in a long range fight, you take some damage, you just kind of hide real quick and your health regens. Not all the way, but it'll regen back to a good amount. So stopping power, the higher tier your stopping power is, the more delayed the regen is. And it's big. It gives you time as Colt. Let's say you hit Juliana and you're like, okay, this is my chance. Gives you time to push in, probably using your shift ability, get close and finish the kill before she can regen. Same goes for Juliana. You can get to Colt before Colt gets to regen his health. Stopping power and Toxic Haze, huge in PvP. Like, super important for player versus player. So look out for weapons with Toxic Haze. Try to find one of your favorite weapons with Toxic Haze and make sure you infuse it. And then you want to look for, try to get Stopping Power on probably all your weapons. Usually when I'm playing as Colt, I usually go in with 2 like more PvE focused weapons and then 1 PvP for if Juliana invades. So that's kind of how I've been doing it. Might not, maybe, you know, speccing all of them for PvP might be better. I don't know. Well, I'm still experimenting a little bit. 2 is kind of, this can be kind of overwhelming and confusing as a menu at first. So I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. So you have a bunch of different things up here. Documents and discoveries are less important. Documents are literally just any notes you find, any cassettes, minicoms, profile, like any of this you can find here and go back and read, mostly for lore stuff. Discoveries are just kind of like different things you see around the map, and what time of day that they are there. So some things only happen at certain times of the day, and this gives you those kind of times and what is happening. So like interacting with the security measures, Igor is left around the complex will alert him to my presence only at night. So that only happens at night. So it's kind of one of those things. It's not super important, but the Arsenal and Visionary leads are the important ones. Visionary leads is basically your campaign track. If we look at the Visionary leads menu here, there's a bunch of different paths, as you can see, and each path is a certain amount of things, and the last thing in the path that you have unlocked will have a time on it. So whatever time of the day it is, for example, it's currently noon. For me, it shows it in the upper right. I'd want to look for any of these visionary leads that have something going on at noon. Right now, there is none. So I probably want to go ahead and fast forward to the next time until I get to a time where there is something going on. Eventually, when you get to the end of a line here, you can see it gives you how you're going to kill the visionary. So the whole goal of the game is to kill all 8 visionaries before the day ends, and then you break the loop, you win, GG, get good, kid, right? So I've completed this top line, and it tells me that my only shot at Harriet is during her morning gathering surrounded by crazy ass cultists. Best way to start the day. So what do I know? When I go for my run to kill all 8 visionaries in one loop, I have to kill Harriet in the morning. Okay, easy, done, dusted, perfect. I know when I need to kill her and how I'm going to break the loop from this chain. Once you get to the end of all of these, you're going to have hints on how to kill every single visionary and how to kill all 8 of them in one day. That's how you break the loop. That's how you beat the game. That is the campaign. So that's what the Visionary Leads tab is. The Arsenal Leads tab is a little bit more going on, and it tells you how to get the different slabs, different weapons. As you can see, this constancy weapon that I got was from a lead, an Arsenal lead. Same exact concept. There's a time of the day. If there's something going on, you can track that lead, go in to where it says to go. Like, let's say it's currently noon. So let's track this lead. Go back to the menu, and the tracked thing shows up right here. So I could go to the complex right now and get some stuff done on this lead. It'll be tracked in the map when you go in, and get you to the next step of that lead. If you want a specific weapon, want a specific slab, it explains and tells you how to do that. So that's how you navigate through the Visionary and Arsenal, this whole upper menu here. Like I said, the whole campaign, like your main story, is the Visionary leads. So these Arsenal leads are kind of like side quests almost, I would say. Okay, so there are at least 5 slabs. Which one don't I have? I don't have the Nexus, the linked. Right. Okay, anyway, I got distracted. That is the number 2 tip. And the number 1 tip that I have for new players is silence is golden. When you are going through a run, the less noise you can make, the better. You're going to want to try to be getting silent kills as much as possible, the assassination type kills. The only times that I have died to enemies in this game, besides Juliana, is when I shoot my weapon and all of a sudden there are like 30 enemies just, what's going on? And they start rushing in, and it's just a shit show. Sometimes even shift can't save me. So if at all possible, you want to try to be super, super silent. I'm hoping I can play enough and get a guide out relatively soon to like the best places to hack certain things so you don't get seen by enemies or seen by the like scanner that you're hacking / turret. Like a basically map guide to all the 4 areas. So hopefully that'll be out soon. But you want to be sneaking around. You want to be getting those assassinations. The shift slab is like a silent thing. So if you're crouched, you shift somewhere. Like if you shift right next to an enemy, if you're behind them, they're not going to turn around. They're not going to see you or hear you. You'll stay crouched and you can assassinate them. If you like teleport right in front of them, obviously they're going to see you, but you might still have time to assassinate them before they can make noise and alert everybody else. So you want to be as quiet as possible if you want to have the highest success rate. That being said, if you just want to balls to the wall, run in there and start shooting, go for it. It's just going to be harder, 100% harder. Not to mention, this is a good PvP tip as well, because if you're Colt, if an arsonist, elitists, that's what the enemies are called, elitists. If the elitists see you and recognize you are there, you will be pinged on Juliana's HUD. So she will know exactly where you are, exactly where to set up trip mines, exactly where to be looking. Takes away the whole element of surprise that you could possibly have. So making sure you don't get spotted, especially when Juliana invades, is huge. And one of the big things that helps out, and I don't have one, I need to get one back, is a nail gun. A nail gun is silent. If you kill an enemy with it, it will not make noise. It's like a suppressor, essentially. So having a nail gun on you at all times is almost like a really, really good. Like I'm thinking, have one PvP weapon, have a nail gun mainly for PvE, and then have one weapon that can kind of hybrid both. Like if you need it in PvP, like you got it. If you need it in PvE, boom, it's there. But nail gun is so good for dealing with enemies silently. And those are my tips. My beginner tips and tricks, some of the things I wish I knew before going into the game. After about another 10-20 hours, I'm probably going to do a full review of the game and give my thoughts and opinions on it. I obviously want to complete the campaign first. I have been playing a lot of Juliana. I think I'm Hunter rank 20 right now. So I've been having a lot of fun invading as Juliana. But yeah, I'll give it a full review after a little bit. But hopefully these tips help you guys. Let me know down in the comments what other type of videos you want to see for Deathloop. Probably going to end up being a lot of PvP content, but I still want to make like map guides and stuff like that. But thank you all for watching. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Plenty of Deathloop content coming soon, as well as Gunfire Reborn's full release is also coming soon as well. So thank you guys. Really appreciate the support. I love each and every one of your faces, and I will catch you all in the next video.